Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for honoring. Okay, Adiola has joined as well. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for honoring this invitation. I just wanted us to go over some things so that we can start working because at the end of the day, an idea is as good as the implementation. We all know that. So, a brief history of how we got to where we are right now. Yes, I have been in the property circles for many years. I've been a mortgage advisor, and I've worked in property. I've also done some training on investment, even before I became a mortgage advisor. So I've always had an interest in property, and I've always tried to implement it. At a point, I had three properties in my portfolio, but life happened, right? Life happened. So I'm not going to go into the details of that. So here we are once again, more or less, I'm starting all over again. But the good thing is that I have all the skills, I have all the knowledge, I have all the experience. I may not have the portfolio that I thought that I would have at this point in time. And that is where all of you now come in because we can lift each other up. I know everybody has their own personal story of, how life has happened to us, but here we are today. And one of the things that inspired me, I attended a meeting, I think it was around October of last year, and somebody gave the example of these young men who are based in Leeds, how they all grumbled about property prices and things like that. They all are of Nigerian origin, attending the same church, and they couldn't get on the property ladder until one of them said, guys, what are we doing? You can't afford it. I can't afford it. Why don't we put our hands together and we buy one? This person that has got young children, you move in first. Then we go over the next time, we buy the next one. Anyway, long story short, that is how they set up. That is how each of them got their own properties. That's how they formed into a credit union and today are being recognized for the work they are doing amongst ethnic minority in Leeds. So a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, Wumi and I were talking on the phone, and Wumi was saying, we're looking to buy our next property. And I was like, okay. And she was talking about investment, this and that. And, the conversation just took on a life of its own. And that is exactly how we said, okay, let's reach out to the people that we know who are of like mind, who we can do this together. At the moment, there are seven of us in the WhatsApp group, and on this call now we have five people. So that's a good turnout. So I just want to go over some things. I've thought about a membership form. I will show you what I've done. I've thought about a name, but all of us are members. We are the founding members. If this thing goes on to become a credit union, you are going to be the trustees of the credit union. So let's all discuss together and take some certain decisions rather. That's why I'm recording. A number of people, well, two people are not able to attend. Yesterday has another meeting. And I think Jumoke, we've not been able to reach her. I've met Jumoke, even though it's Wumi that introduced her. Jumoke is the one that has an architectural background. And the first meeting we had, which was just myself, Wumi, and Jumoke, she talked about architectural stuff, tradesmen and interior decoration and stuff like that. So very good skills to have. So before I go any further, let's just do a round robin and introduce ourselves because I'm aware that we all don't know one another. So let's introduce ourselves, what we think we bring to the table, and what we are looking to achieve. Just very quickly. So I can start off. My name is Tola Ayeni. I'm a financial coach, but my background is in financial services. I've done mortgage advice, I've done financial advice, and even more. And my role in this cooperative will be regarding the finances as well. So if we need mortgage, I know where to go to, I know who to talk to, I know how to arrange those things, even insurance and all of those things. I can also help with sourcing and getting clients, and also the marketing side of it, because another phase of my business is that I'm a digital marketer. So using those skills to market what we've got, just putting things on Facebook, on social media generally, will generate some interest for us. So that's me very briefly. I'll just follow what I can see on my screen. So the next person is Omolabake.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Omalabake. My background is I'm a business analyst. I work on several projects, so both private and within the public sector. So, well, I think I'll bring my business analysis skills and projects into this, and then obviously when it comes to kind of building something in relation to our website, and if we're going to be having that, basically analyzing some of these works as well. Yes, I might be, yeah, that might be my area. So, but then, yes, that's me.
Thank you. Next is Olawumi.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Olawumi. I'm an healthcare support worker, and I'll be viewing properties.
Okay. Next person is Adiola.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adeola. I'm still an 8K worker. And what's the next question? So,
What are you going to be bringing to the table?
um, for now, any idea I have, like, about any property, maybe if I've gotten if there's a property for sale around me, or I'm gonna share it, or if I have friends or family that are into it, so I'll ask them about it and bring it to the table here. All right. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. And last but definitely not the least is Shayo.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm driving, but yeah, okay. So my name is Shayo. I am a marketer. I've built networks for the last 15 years. Also now in the online space, marketing. So I think what I'm going to bring to the table would be marketing, one, building networks, reaching out to people within my networks, to help in whatever shape or fashion we need it. Online marketing as well. What else do I bring? Mindset, pumping us all up, getting us all excited, working on our mind, helping us go after our dreams and goals. Yep, that's what you get. Thank you.
Okay, that's fantastic. As you can see, we have a breadth of experience and skills as well. But the most important thing is that we are all like-minded. I think I've met everyone now. I mean, on this call now, the only person that I've not that I didn't know before is Jumi. But I think I've met everyone on this call now. So I can say that we are all like-minded. But one thing I want to emphasize is that it's not Shayo's group or Tola's group or Wumi's group. It's for each and every one of us. And we're only going to get whatever we put into it. If all hands are on deck and we do this thing properly with a vision and passion, I tell you, each and every one of us can be walking away with a portfolio of properties in a very short amount of time. I don't know about you, maybe because I check out those things. I always see all of these property things on Facebook, for instance, and the kind of figures that they're talking about. there's no reason why we cannot be doing six figures, income from this. So we're going to talk a little bit about strategies and all that, and then I will share the registration form that I did. The reason I did that is we may be looking to introduce, I want to say maybe this 7 of us should be like the core members, but that's open for discussion. But we may want to introduce other people over time. It's important for us to have a certain benchmark that these are the kind of people and this is the kind. And if we agree on the registration form, each and every one of us will fill that form, even though we're in already. We'll fill that form just to document it and have proper, what's it called, proper paperwork. Because if in future we want to be a credit union, let's start keeping the records the way it ought to be, so that in the future we won't have any issues as to our records and everything like that. So that's that. Let's now go. I just have a few short slides, that we're going to look at. Find if I can find my slide. Okay, I think it's this one. Okay, so this thing is covering it. Bear with me. Okay. You can still see that, right? Okay, so I have put together a slight agenda here. It's very, very simple. So talking about a name for us, and then terms of engagement, roles, and then questions and answer. Before I show you what I have in mind for a name, can we just, let's all go around suggestions of a name? Because I was thinking, if we're going to be contracting business with other people, we need to have a name that represents us, even if it is just an association or a trading as name. We may not want to incorporate anything just yet, but we can do trading as it's an association, and that one will also enable us to open an account when we need to do so. So, any ideas? Once again, let's go around. So this time around, let's start with Wumi. Allow me. Yep.
I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea for
Okay,
now.
start thinking about it too. So we move on to
Okay.
Omolabake
Mama, idea for a name or
for a name. Yeah.
because my I think the thing went off, so I didn't really hear
Yeah,
what you
for a
said.
name.
Name for
For the
the
association, the group, the cooperative, whatever we want to call it.
wait, can we come back to that as in terms of the name? Let's think about
Okay,
it.
okay. Okay. Next is Adiola. Let's see who's gonna be bold.
I think let's give it a thought. Let me just to think about it. So
That
because it's starting
that
kind of so.
So what are we looking for in the name? In the name, as in what should it represent? I think that's where I would need to start from.
well, I think there are three things that we may want to look at. One is the fact that it's an association or cooperative. Two is the property behind it. Um, what else? So cooperative, property, and also maybe the transformation aspect of it, the fact that we want to use that as a means to lift up and empower ourselves and the people that will join afterwards. While you guys are thinking, Shayo, do you have any suggestions for us? Did Shayo just drop off?
Um, She's not here, so maybe she was driving, so there's
Okay.
tendency that
Who is knock culture? Hello, knock culture. Can you unmute yourself? Hello, knock culture. Can you unmute yourself? Mumi, can you send a message to her and confirm? Is that who we are expecting?
I think that is Jimmy. I'm not sure, but I think that is Jimmy. Let me tell.
Hello, knock culture. Can you hear us? I mean, if you can't talk for whatever reason, can you put something in the chat so that we know who is on the call with us? Okay, so we can come back to the name, but I'm going to be sharing my terms of engagement, and you're going to see the name that I kind of had in mind. It's a suggestion. It's not something that I think I need to stop sharing and pick up particular document. Uh, where's the document? So let me open it. Yep, and then I'll go back into Zoom. Okay, so like I said, it's just a suggestion. If we have better ones, let's give ourselves time to consider and all that. So that's it. Can you see that? Can you guys see that?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes. Yes.
that's what I came up with. Equi Wealth Property Association. The equi there is talking about, the what's it called, the cooperative or the association side of it, the fact that it's equitable, all of us are members. Then wealth, yes, we want this to be something that helps us create wealth. And of course, I put property there, but you know what, we don't necessarily have to stick to just property, in the sense that maybe in future we want to do other investments as well. We may want to do stocks and shares and all of that. So, whenever we are forming names like this, it's important to, sorry, what have I done? What are you seeing?
Blank.
Blank. Um, why has it gone? Why has it done that? Okay, Shaya is back. Shaya, did you have any suggestions for us for the name? Shaya.
Hello? No, I don't. So I don't. I haven't even thought of it at all.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So everybody now has a chance to actually think about it and all that. This is what I came up with. And as I said, I'm kind of rethinking putting property, because we may not restrict ourselves to property. Property is one kind of investment. We may want to do something else in the future. And over time, um we want the name to remain relevant. So think about it. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I got your message. I'm sorry everyone can't speak Jumoke here. All right, Jumoke, at least we know it's you. Okay, thanks for making it anyway. So this is what I put together in terms of what's it called? The agreement is very, very basic. Let me just scroll down. Can you see that? What can you see? Hello, what can you see? Can you see the
The
document?
agreement. Yes, we can.
I
I
still
can see it.
do, yeah.
So we have personal details, we have membership details, start date, how did you hear about us, so referrals, social media, website, blah blah blah, others specify. Then we have the place for referees, two referees, referee one, referee two. It's just a bit of due diligence so we know who we're dealing with, especially because it relates to money, it relates to investment, and if further down the line we want to go via the route of credit union, we need to know exactly who we're dealing with. Then investment interest. What is your primary interest in the cooperative? Property investment, property development, buy to let, crowdfunding, others specify. What level of monthly contribution do you commit to? So people can specify any level they choose, and there is a place for other there. Now, I know some people have indicated that they may want to do monthly contributions similar to our job, and then, at the end of that period, use that money to then purchase a property. But there are also others who perhaps are not in a position to start contributing immediately. So this is there so that it caters to everybody's needs. The people who are contributing and use that money to buy the property, they will be the owners of that property. So let's say that we had a membership of, for the sake of argument, we had a membership of 100, and only 10 people contributed towards property A. Those 10 people will be the people whose names will appear on the deeds for that property if they contributed towards the deposit. Now, there may be like 1 or 2% that we will leave for the association in terms of what is our own contribution. We are the ones facilitating it. In that regard, the members are then joint owners under the percentage that is belonging to the association. But the people who have contributed 10%, 5%, 20% towards the deposit, they are the major owners there. I just thought that I should clarify that. Then what skills can you offer to support the association's objectives? Property sourcing, we've already kind of touched on that as we were introducing ourselves. Refurbishing and interior design, legal, including conveyancing, marketing. Maybe we should even include a portion there for, valuation and survey if we need those kind of things. Financial, I've separated financial administration and financial mortgage and funding. What I mean by that is that the administration side of the association, somebody looking at our finances from the inside, the contribution, somebody managing all those. Then the mortgage and the funding for particular projects. So I felt that it was necessary to separate those two functions so that we don't get confused. And then others, while we were introducing ourselves, people mentioned a lot of other things. Marketing is there, but projects is not there. Website development and all of those things is not there. So we can include so much more. Then declaration and agreement. This is just to say membership is subject to approval. I agree to abide by the rules, blah, blah, blah. So just simple things, sign and date. And then section 5 is for official use. You just complete certain things. Application received date, referee verification completed, membership approved, membership ID, date of approval, comments, blah, 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 blah. And then for inquiries, we will have maybe an email address, phone number, website, if applicable, that people can contact us. So this is the form we will issue out to new members. So your comments, please, guys. Wumi, you can type your comments so that we are all together. Comments, guys. Let's unmute ourselves.
Well done, ma. This is a good outline that you've made. Thank you so much, ma. It's really a good one.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Thank you, Coach Tola. I think this is really good to get us started. But like I said, so would everyone need to agree to a minimum contribution? How about people that cannot contribute anything at this point in terms of money, but they can contribute services, they can contribute their time and stuff? How does that work? How do we reflect that on the membership form?
Okay. Yeah, we might want to reflect that maybe where we have the what do you bring type of thing, and we just indicate, specifically how the person is going to. So where's that section now? What skills can you offer to support the association's objectives? So maybe put what's it called here? Insert a bit of a table there where we can write, okay, this is what I can do. This is what I intend to do. And where we have the level of monthly contributions, there might be something here to say not able to contribute as of yet, so that we're clear about what we are doing. So thank you for bringing that up, Shayo. I want us to be open. So whoever is unable to, there's no need to feel as though, oh, they're going to look at me lesser than, we will need to be very open with one another. As we go along, we may get to know about each other's finances, credit situation and all that. I don't want us to look at anything as being negative, because even if somebody has bad credit, there are ways we can support one another to improve the credit and make sure that we can all operate together. So that we will go into in a bit more detail, but let's be clear about it that even with a credit union, it's not everybody that joins a credit union that contributes. But the people who contribute will be the ones that have like the ownership right. They will be the ones that can say, okay, I want to borrow X amount based on Y amount that have already contributed. But the way we are working, we're not just working as a credit union, we're working as a cooperative. So somebody who is giving their skills, maybe it may even be necessary to say, let's quantify the skills. If I'm going to do digital marketing campaign for, let's say, a whole month, if we had given it out to somebody on the outside, maybe they would charge us £500, but because I am a member, I can say, okay, let's attribute a value of £200 to that. So therefore, that's like a nominal contribution that I have made by using my own skills and services to do that particular piece of work. So all of these things we have to bear in mind, and then we agree as we go along. So yeah, does that answer your question, Shai?
Yes, it does. I've got another question though.
Okay.
So when it comes to time to then purchase properties, for people that so the question is, when you're buying as a credit union or buying as a cooperative, the credit search is going to be done on the individuals in the union, right? Not on the body. So it's not the cooperative that is buying the property, it's the individuals.
Yes, we can do it in two ways. We
Okay.
can make the cooperative buy the property, or we can make the individuals buy the property. Now, if we
Right.
want the cooperative to buy the property, that means that it must be legally registered and
Okay.
treated as an entity. And,
Okay.
and then they will treat it like they treat companies. And the treatment is usually different from individuals. But,
Okay.
this we can all we can research further down the line and get even some legal advice on it.
Mm-hmm.
If we talk to people in Citizens Advice Bureau, for instance, they might be able to give us some free advice about how to go about this thing. But what I was saying is that because incorporation brings with it certain costs and everything, and I'm thinking let's not go down that route until we have started to generate an income. Now that brings me to this. I was going to talk about it as talking about the contract that I said I got. If we start off with the you know let me go on to the next. I'm going to take this down and go back to the presentation. Where where is it? Okay, can you see that? Can you see that? Nobody's
Yes.
answering me. Oh,
No, we're
Yes.
still seeing the document, you.
okay, let me stop share. I don't know why it's doing that. Go back to sharing and then go back here. So can you see the PowerPoint now?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay. So
Yes.
this is what I wanted to talk about, the strategies on the left there, the strategies. What I want to suggest is that let's start with the rent to rent and the serviced accommodation. And the only reason I'm saying that is because it doesn't need a huge amount of money. If we want to buy property, we're talking about 25% deposit. Even if we get something at 100,000, 25% deposit is 25,000, you know, and, contribution, some of us may be able to, some of us may not be able to. But if we start doing rent to rent, and I tell you, there is a huge amount of business for that now. So one of the things that we will need to be doing is within our circles. This is not even about advertising or anything. Within our circles, let's connect with. I mean, I put a post on Nigerian community in Peterborough, and I was able to get 3 or 4 landlords to respond to me. Who here has property 2, 3, 4 bedroom? Because the clients that I got, they said they needed properties and they still need them in the Cambridgeshire area, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, because they already have a contract. I think it's with Cambridgeshire. They have a contract to provide supported housing for vulnerable individuals. So they need houses, they don't want flats because of safeguarding issues. Houses, as many as they can get. They have people on the waiting list that are ready to go into this thing. I already signed a contract with them. I will show you the contract. They've agreed to the terms. I had a meeting with them where they were bombarding me with questions and everything. And I was like, yes, my team can do this, my team can do that, and all of that. Now, if every property we're able to find for them, if it is purchasing, we can earn up to 5,000. Are you with me? So if we can concentrate on the rent to rent, there are landlords who don't have time to look after the property themselves. And therefore, maybe they have a void period. Say, okay, is your property empty? Can you give it to us in terms of corporate let? And we will find tenants. We will pay you like a guaranteed amount. If the rent is supposed to be, let's say it's supposed to be 1,000 pounds, and we say to them, as a guaranteed rent, we will give you 800 every month, right? And they say, okay, that saves me a lot of stress. You're giving me 800 every month. Let's sign the contract for at least 2 years. And then we go out in the same Nigerian community in Peter. Those of you who live in Peterborough, Wumi, you can bear me witness. On Nigerian community in Peterborough, there's always people looking for places. There's new people coming into town who don't have where to
Yes.
stay. So there's a room. Oh, this one you can pay 500. Meanwhile, we're paying the landlord 800. Let's say it's a 3 bedroom. and each room we're giving it out for 650 or 700. One room, more or less, has paid the landlord. The remaining 2 rooms will now be our own profit. And we do that every single month. We can add to the portfolio from 1 property to 2. And all we are going to do, Jumoke, this is your own department now. All we are going to do is that when we get that property, whoever is in charge of our refurbishment and interior design will go in there, do a walkthrough, just, 2 sheet up. And I'm purposely saying 2 sheet up. We're not doing any kind of, if it needs structural work, we would have agreed that with the landlord. But we just 2 sheet up, a lick of paint here, this here, just put furnishings and whatever, make it look pretty. And then we're letting it out as serviced accommodation or rooms. And that's it. So that rent to rent, we don't have to buy the property, and we only spend minimal amount of money. The money that we use to touch up the property, that's what we are spending. And then the income can start coming in. If we start to generate income, let's say 500 a month, 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, 5,000 a month, over a period of time, we can now use whatever it is we're generating to now say we want to buy property. Are you seeing where I'm going with that?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So that is the idea. That is the idea behind this, that we start with rent to rent, we start with service accommodation, we concentrate on it. There's a lot of work to be done with rent to rent, in the sense that we have to identify the landlords that will give us the properties. Once they give us the property, we sign an agreement with them. Even before we have signed an agreement with them, we're already marketing for tenants to go in, because we don't want there to be a void. Remember that we are saying we're paying this landlord 800. So very quickly, we must be able to make minimum of 1,500 on that property. That should be the kind of way that we are looking at it. Minimum 1,500. Maximum, we're talking about 2,005. And it's doable. Shayo, Abby, I had a conversation with Abby, and she was the one that explained some of these strategies to me, that go with the people that you know, first of all. By the time you now have a track record of the people you know, then you can now start going to estate agent and say, this is what we do. These are the testimonials we have from our landlords. These are the testimonials we have from our tenants. And then they will be able to entrust property. But if now we go into estate agents, I've worked in estate agency, they will not even look at you. But when you have a track record, then they will listen to you. So that's the strategy that I thought we could work on. And property sourcing is important. How do we get the landlords? Then we get the agreement and then start looking for instance, this contract that I have now, we have to provide between 5 to 10 properties for these guys. If we can find those properties, we're sitting pretty. So that's the job at hand now. That is the job at hand. The easy part was getting them to sign the contract. Now we got to deliver. So any comments? Any response to that?
Wait, so this thank you. So this contract you signed now is for us to deliver.
I can't do it by myself. So hey, here
so
we
have
go.
our first project already.
Yes, so
that is impressive. We have not even created our community. What do we call ourselves? Cooperative. We already have a project.
Yes.
Let's go. Okay, where are we looking for property? Cambridgeshire, you said.
Cambridgeshire. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm on it.
2, 3, 4, 5 bedroom properties, as many as we can deliver.
In Cambridgeshire. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. All right then. Thanks.
Any other feedback on that?
So would it be, is it house or
House.
flat? Just house.
Because this particular contract is for vulnerable people, they cannot do flats. They cannot be sharing entrance with anybody. They have to have their own compound and all of that because of
So how many bedrooms? Yeah.
Minimum of 2.
Minimum of
Maximum
2.
can go up to 5.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
Cambridgeshire, anybody that you know, Cambridgeshire. So when we say Cambridgeshire, we're talking Peterborough, Cambridge, Wisbech, March, any of the surrounding areas in that place, as long as the locations are okay. It must be close to, maybe close to transportation station, because these vulnerable people and their support workers, they will need to go to shops, they will need to do like basic trips like that. So if they're in like a city center, that would be good. They'll be able to walk into town, buy their food, and do whatever they need to do. Yeah, so that's what we need. Mm, that's what we need.
Okay, all right. We're on it.
Okay, okay. Any other feedback? Chayo is using us to do exercise. What's the time? Oh, I think we have
I'm not
about.
doing exercise. I'm here, sis. I'm here.
Okay, I saw you do it like this.
No, it's not exercise. It's not exercise.
Okay. Any other feedback? Diola and Wumi. I think there's something in the chat. Let me check what we have there. Oh, you really did not hear anything. Your network went off. Might want
Yeah,
to.
yeah, I didn't at
Oh
the
dear.
initial start, I didn't hear anything at all. At
Oh
all.
dear. Oh, sorry
So
about that.
I'm hoping that I would yeah, I would
Okay. I will put the
record.
recording as unlisted in my YouTube, because these things are too large. I'm never able to send it directly. So I'll put it there and I will send the link to everybody so we can watch it. So having talked about the strategies, um we've already talked about the roles. So I want each and every one of us to identify ourselves in the roles that we can do. I'm really encouraged by talking about this particular project, this contract now. Both Shayo and Omolabake said, we're on it, we're on it. That's how it's supposed to be. So that, if all six of us on this call, we can find at least two properties each. When I say at least, that means that it can be more. At least two properties. 2 times 6 is 12. And we present it to these people and say, these are the properties that we found. Don't you think they will be impressed that they asked for properties and we were able to deliver 12? Even if they don't want all the properties, if they say, oh, this particular location is not good enough, at least they will be able to choose from, how many properties there. So right now, because of the urgency, they want the ones that they can rent straight away. They're still going to look towards buying. So this is going to be an ongoing project for us. But they want the ones that they can rent immediately. So any landlords that you know that have property, just say that you have a project with a company that's going to give them guaranteed rent. Landlords like to hear the word guaranteed rent because they know it means that they are not worrying about tenants for the next maybe 1-2 years. It might even be longer. If we can get them to sign maybe like a 5-year contract, that's fine. So that's what we want to do for now. And then they will now start looking at buying, because the buying process is going to take longer. And we will do that with them as well, and we will end the commission for that as well. So those roles, let's look at them very well. All of us can do property sourcing. In fact, it's not a matter of all of us can do property sourcing. All of us should be doing property sourcing. So we are all property sourcers as from now. What I would also be doing, maybe on our next meeting, I will come and talk about property sourcing and what we need to be looking out for. Let me give you a tip right here and now so that at least you learn something from today. Apart from this particular project that says specifically Cambridgeshire, when we're doing property sourcing, please focus on university communities. Focus on university communities. It doesn't have to be within London. So don't be thinking London, because London is quite expensive. And you need, although we can make it in London as well. But focus on university communities. Liverpool, property is cheap there. And the rental income, in terms of the percentage, it's probably higher than what you get in London. because the mortgage is a certain level in London, and then there's not so much that you can increase the rent in London. But in Liverpool, the mortgages are so small that if you say you are charging £800 for the rent, you have made so much money. The yield is like 5-10%. So Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester, whereas Hull, where else do we have university communities like that? So think about all the
Sheffield too.
Sheffield. Say that again.
Sheffield.
Sheffield, Bristol, Birmingham, all the places where you have university communities. Those are the places that we're going to be looking at. And they are not as expensive as some of this, London, Milton Keynes, and all of those type of areas. So that's what we look at when it comes to property sourcing. Nearness to university communities. And why is that important? Students, most of them are renting private accommodation. The university community, the workers, the nurses, the whatever, the workers, they will be living within the vicinity. So that is huge rental market. Huge rental market. And there's a lot of crowd that the university draws in. Maybe they have a conference, maybe they have a this, they have a that. People come in. Some people come for a conference, they stay 1 week. So whether you are talking about the Airbnb style accommodation, or you are talking about the rent to rent style accommodation, or the serviced accommodation, those areas are good for it. So you have now done a short course in property sourcing. You are now property sourcers. And even marketing, all of us can do marketing. You can put something on your WhatsApp status, on your Facebook, this thing. People will respond. You will be surprised the people that are looking at your status every single day. Today, I put something on my status, and one lady who was meant to do some clothes for me in Nigeria, she responded out of the blues. In the thing, I said, comment ready if you'd like to find out more. Bam, she just DM'd me ready. And I quickly just sent her the message that she needed. So you never know who is looking at your status, your story, your this, your that. So all of you are going to become marketers as well. You can see I'm walking down the roads there. Property sourcing, marketing, financial, okay. You will learn some hints and tips along the line. Legal, you will learn some hints and tips along the line. Refurbishment and interior decor, that is Jumoke's department. So we will also support her as we go along there. So that's the strategies and the roles. I think that was my main slide. And the next slide is just talking about thank you and any questions. So that is it from me. Let me just show you guys quickly. Did I open the... I don't even think I opened... No, I opened it. Okay, this is the contract, but it's not the signed one. So I have this one open on my Canva. I will just show you. Where are we? I will just show you, but it has been signed. It has been signed. I have the signed copy. So I just want to show you the contract. I drafted it. Well, call it contract. It was, I called it an engagement letter. Let me get rid of this. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see, but it's not bold though. We can't
It's not,
see.
yeah, let me increase it here. Okay.
Okay. Right.
So our fees. So this one here, this is for the purchase.
Okay.
5,000 or 5% of purchase price. With the lettings, 10% of total annual letting value. They tried to negotiate me down on this one, and I refused. I said to them, it's only certain things that can let me get out of bed in the morning. And if you guys are going to be so this thing about the pricing, then maybe that's something that we should go and think about. As soon as we finish the meeting, the CEO just called me back. He was like, "You're a tough negotiator. We're going for it."
That's
So,
good. Though.
so yeah.
So,
So that's the
so
terms of
what
the
are
contract.
the?
Hmm?
Sorry to interrupt you. Okay, are you still going on?
No, go ahead.
So my question is based on this contract that you have now that we're going to be part sourcers or
Mhm.
part. This contract was not done on behalf of the association, a big cooperative though.
No, it wasn't because when
Okay.
we started talking, the association conversation had not happened. But by the
Yes.
time I had the meeting with them, we
Mm,
had already had the first meeting, me, Mumi,
mm,
and Jumoke. So when I was talking to them, I kept on saying, my team, my team, my team. And,
okay.
I was bigging up myself as well. You know what I mean? So, and I felt that if we're having a big contract like this, it's not something that I will be able to do by myself. If I decide that I wanted to be selfish and do it by myself, I won't even be able to deliver. And that's the problem. But if we all do it, we can always say whatever it is that is on this agreement, and we can say trading as the association. We
Okay.
know that we're doing it together. They may not, I mean, it's my name that is on it. There's no other name on it. So if I tell them I want to change the name to whatever, I don't think they will mind.
Okay, so the my question now is because this question I'm asking you, me, I will ask question. Other people will be thinking it inside their head. They're not asking. So my question is, how do we then split the profit for this deal?
Okay,
Are we going to split it based on, as in, we don't even have terms of prepayment? I mean, what do we have? We don't have that yet. So how is this going to work?
okay. So the way I think we need to think about it because other projects will come. Maybe tomorrow you are the one that is bringing a project for us. So whatever we do decide, we have to make sure that it's equitable and it's something that we can replicate over time. It's a good question. It's a fantastic question. But to me, it's always good to have a good problem. A good problem in the sense that if they pay us money and the fight that we are fighting is how do we allocate the money, at least there's money. But if we don't have anything and we are fighting over nothing, then we're just deceiving ourselves. So yeah, it's a good question, and then we need to think about it. Are we saying that the person who brings the project gets a certain percentage? Are we saying that we want to do it in the name of the association and use it to fund our rent to rent strategy? What exactly do we want to do? And what is going to be equitable? Bear in mind that each and every one of you can also get a contract because how did I didn't know these people from anywhere. All that happened is that because I have been doing okay. I have another TikTok account that I use for mortgage, and I talk about those things, and I also post into the Nigerian community in Peterborough. So those people know me that she's a mortgage advisor, or she does things with yesterday is here. Hey, hey, hey. Do we have a full house or what? Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you for being here. I know you had another meeting. We're going to round up very soon because I need to jump off on another meeting as well. So, somebody who I don't even know who introduced me to them, to be honest with you. They just called, they just said, they've been looking for property. All the estate agents that they've been going to, they were telling them this, they were telling them that. Then somebody said to them, why don't you try our Niger people? That's how my name came into the conversation. So the moment you two start posting on maybe your social media, your Facebook, your WhatsApp, or whatever, and people know that this is what you're doing, or you say, I belong to a cooperative, da 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 da, somebody can approach you and give you that contract as well. So whatever we are deciding on, we have to think long term. That's what I would say. Think long term because these projects will be coming up. When people know that this is what we do, they will be the one coming to us and say, we need your help, we need your help. So whether we want to say the person that brings the project gets certain percentage and the rest of the people now share in percentage. At this initial stage, do we want to keep the funds internally to use for our rent-to-rent project? Because even though rent-to-rent doesn't need a lot of money, if we get a property today, we want to do rent-to-rent, we'll need to refurbish. And that refurbishing, we have to be able to do it very quickly, turn around, like that, and then start letting it out so that we don't commit ourselves to a lease agreement with the landlord and no income is coming in. So we need to have money in our account to say, okay, we've got this property on a rent-to-rent basis. We just go there within 2 days, we've turned it around and we have made it available. We have made it available for people who can then take on the rent. So yeah, let's go and have a think about it. That's an assignment for us, how we want to split the funds. But one thing I want to emphasize is that this is an association. We should all see it as our project. We should all see it as our money. We should all see it as we're partners together. That's what I want. That's what I believe will make us motivated. Because if somebody is taking the bulk of the money, then the other person will be, she's the one taking the bulk of the money, therefore I don't need to do anything. Let's see it as our project and let's work together, because this can be the first of many. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I have another question. Sorry, I know you have to go. This is the last one. I know you mentioned membership for new people that may want to come on and all of that. Are we sure we want to bring in more people? What is the benefit of having more people in this than just all 7 of us that are here already? Why would we want more people?
Okay. So when I say more people, I'm talking about long term.
Okay.
So I'm looking at, if we decide that we want to be a credit, and when I say long term, maybe we're talking about 2, 5, 10 years, I don't know.
Right.
And we decide we want to be a credit union. At that point, we will now be, in quotes, the trustees. But people will now come, they will contribute money, and they will also be able to take out loan to buy their properties. So I'm looking in terms of long term. So we are talking about the scalability of the business in the long run. Now, also in the mid-term, so let's say in 2 years' time, we're doing this thing, we're doing well. If people see us doing this and they say, we want to be a part of it, are we going to say, no, you cannot be a part? Especially if people have resources to contribute. Let's use the word resources. It could be money, it could be skills, it could even be their own properties. Are we going to say no and walk away from them? For me, I think that what we should be looking at is that we can be the founding members and then create a membership structure that will allow people to come in. But let's hear your thoughts.
All right, thank you, sis. I was thinking more about the manageability of it all. So when we keep bringing in people and then we're now 20, we're 30, we're 40, as in, how do we manage all of that? That's going to be a lot for us to manage. That's why I asked that question. With 7 of us now, we all came to this first meeting. That is highly impressive. That's great. But when we are now getting to 2030, in fact, how many people will be showing up? People won't take it seriously. We know our vision, we know our passion, we know what got us here. We know, all 7, we know why we came here really to get started with this thing. That's why I asked. So I don't know, maybe
I think I
I don't know.
second that. Yeah, I think we need to start with horse first. Maybe later, maybe there's diversification or we're diversifying or something. But with what we have on ground right now, I think maybe if we can just hold on to the people we have right now, and maybe as we expand later. But yeah.
Okay, yesterday you got your hands up. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Sorry I was late. I was on a research meeting. I just want to add to what has been said just now. I want to look at it like if we are going to become a cooperative, so the 7 of us would be the trustees and the founders of this cooperative. We might then have members. So we need to sit down and see how that is going to pay them. So we run the cooperative, but we have monies that we'll be able to, members that will be able to trade with their money. So we might offer it. It might be that they will not come and sit down on meetings with us, but they are going to be, maybe they buy shares and we can use their money, and then we agree a certain percentage that they're going to get back. So it's something that needs to be like, we have to go and do the research and see exactly how we want it to work. Because there are times when you're going to get people who say, I like what you're doing, the credit union, I have some money that you guys can maybe trade with. And when you get the interest back, the organization, the cooperative will get some of that interest from their money, and they will get some money as well. So there are things that we need to look at. So I've been involved in something like this before, where we called ourselves something angels. I can't remember now, and then we had people who would say, "Oh, I've got this 2,000 euro. I want to put it into what you are doing." So when they add it to the money that you're giving out as loans, they get their own interest back. But they never came to meetings. But we encourage them to attend one AGM at the end of the year to come and see what we are doing and how their money is being spent. So we could look into that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Okay. I'm going to, let's just summarize. I think I flow very much with what everybody said, really, but I think Yetunde has summarized it, and I'm glad she also talked about having experience of doing something like this for a cooperative. So as it stands now, we are the founding members, 7 of us. That's it, right? And I think our focus should be, let's get this thing started. Let's deliver on the project that we have on ground. Let's start looking at our rent-to-rent strategy. That's the focus. At a later stage, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, we can think about membership. Or if people are now coming to us, then that's a good problem. Then we can sit down together again and say, okay, people are asking about how can they be a part? What do we do? So let's leave that on the back burner. It's good that we brought it up now. It's not that we're oblivious of it, but that's not our focus just yet. Our focus is these 7 of us. Let's galvanize ourselves together. Let's work on the pre-existing project, and let's look at our rent-to-rent strategies, how this thing can be turning out money for us. Basically, that's what we want. Once we are making money, then we can start looking at how do we want to grow in terms of the portfolio, grow in terms of membership. So that's the summary that I will give. One thing that we didn't talk about, which I think at some point it entered my head, as an association, we may need to have, I don't know, is it like a leadership or whatever? Whether somebody is chairing the meeting, somebody is being secretary, it may just be 1, 2, 3 people like that. And that can be rotated amongst us so that it's not just one person, but all of us are members and we have equal voting rights when it comes to voting for things. But the people, I mean, Yetunde wasn't here when we were talking about skill set and roles. But now that she's talked about her knowledge of cooperative, that's a skill set that we need. And, some of the research will help us further down the line. So that's another thing that we need to think about in terms of, who calls for meeting, who is in charge or whatever, how do we want to, how do we want this to be managed amongst the 7 of us? So I think that's it from me. Any other last words before we round up? I'm already 8 minutes late for my meeting. Any last words?
Hello, sorry, ma. Just one question. Sorry for taking you back about the rent to rent. So when we rent a property and we're renting it out to that, definitely there will be wear and tears. So are we doing that is renting it out to people that will be repairing the house, or is it the original landlord that will be doing the repair?
Okay, we're going to have an agreement with the landlord. Anything that is what's the word I wanted to use? Technical is the word that is coming into my mind, but not anything that is building related. It should be the landlord. But if it is wear and tear, like
Structural.
structural is the word. Thank you. Anything structural, it should be the landlord, because at the end of the day, they still own the property. We're managing the property for them, so to speak. Right. So anything structural is the landlord. It will be specified in the lease agreement that we will sign with the landlord. But anything that is now wear and tear, paint and this, that, things like that, that we will take care of, because that's the service that we're offering to the landlord. Does that help? But we
Yes.
will go into the again, I said we will talk about property sourcing. We will also talk about rent to rent, because we need to know what we are doing, what we are allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do. Now, assignment for everybody: go on YouTube. You will find enough videos on rent to rent and property sourcing. Go and consume those videos, make your points, write them down, so that the next meeting we can then discuss and say this, and then we can start putting down our own lease agreement that we're going to have with the landlord. So it is whatever we agree with the landlord, that we sign on it, and then we go and implement it. I have a friend who's doing rent to rent already. I might tell her to give me some of the templates that she uses for our agreement, so that way we can then see it, and just to protect ourselves, so that we're not agreeing to what we should not be agreeing to. So very good question, Adiola. Thank you for bringing that up. We can't finish the conversation in one day. This is going to be ongoing. So like I said, homework for everybody: go and watch videos on rent to rent, watch videos on property sourcing. Now let's make the group, let us make it active. Now we've seen each other, we've introduced one another, we know ourselves. In fact, before we go, can we all just put on our cameras, so that if we see each other on the streets, we won't start yabbing each other. Everybody put on your camera, even if
I
you're
think
in
I
your
know
PA,
Shayo.
it
I know
doesn't
that.
matter. You know Shayo.
I think I know that lady there.
I know how.
Good
Alawumi,
evening,
your
everyone.
baby is not sucking right now. Adiola and Jumoke, please put on your camera, even if it is for a second. I might be tempted to take a screenshot as well. If everybody is on. Adiola, put on your camera. By the way, let me recommend Adiola. Adiola did one, that crochet hairstyle that I had before I traveled to Nigeria. It was Adiola that did it.
Oh. Hello.
Hello, Adiola.
Jumoke, oh, you and your
Oh, the
baby, you're
baby.
cuddling. Hey, see something. No? Jumoke, can you put on your camera?
Adiola, my daughter's namesake.
Thank you, ma.
You're welcome. Yeah. Anyway, so we've seen each other's faces.
So are we all in the UK?
Yes. No, no,
Okay.
no. Is Jumoke in the UK, Mumi?
Yes, yeah, she's around.
Is she in the UK? Okay.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
she's
Okay,
around.
so we
Yes.
are all in the UK. We are all in the UK. Now let's make our WhatsApp group, let's make it vibrant. If you have any question, put it there. Somebody will respond. If you see a property, you say, I think this might be useful for us. Or you watch one video and you say, this thing blew my mind. Put it there. Let us learn from one another. Let's cultivate this group. These 7, strong, powerful women. Hey, see, they say 7 is the number of perfection. We didn't plan this. And it just turns out we are 7. So let's see how we can cultivate this group and how we can start making money. So the project we have on hand, let's all go and be looking for property in Cambridgeshire. Think about it. Every property we get is money for us. We can start earning. We can start earning. My goodness. Multiple streams of income. Here we come.
So
Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go and do the work. Thank you very much, guys.
thank you. See you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.
Bye.